My name is Linda Henderson. I'm going to tell my story today of the worst day in my entire life. The day that I lost my 27-year-old daughter and the day that I died, except for my heartbeat. I grew up in a Christian home environment with my mom and dad. I had two siblings. I was the oldest. Both of my parents loving. I couldn't ask for a better family, actually. We went to church on Sundays. I was raised to have a great faith in God. Growing up, I was involved in all the church activities. I was a shy child growing up, but all of those opportunities helped me. Love was the major component in our household. Yeah, there was ups and downs like every family, all the, parents having their disagreements, but they were married a lot of years and I had a wonderful family. I can't complain. And so when I went on my own, I took all that with me and said, I know what kind of mom to be, and I know what kind of father that I expect for my children. I met my husband in church, the father of my two girls. We were together for 19 years. We had two children, two girls, as I said. After 19 years, we divorced. I was a single mom for a period of time, and then I met my husband, my current husband now, and I've been married for 28 years. We were young and decided that we wanted to have a family, and we weren't really in the perfect situation financially to do that. I became pregnant with my oldest, and there was excitement in the air. It was a true blessing, and I was a nurse. I'm a retired nurse of 37 years. When I had my children, it was a blessing, and I knew that they were a gift from God. At that time, when you have your children, you think you're just going to have them forever, and it's going to be the cycle of life where, unfortunately they're going to be around to see me pass on, but I'm going to get to enjoy them with all my days and all my hours. And so when I had Andrea, my daughter that was killed in a car accident, she was 9 pounds, 11 ounces. She was, just this robust baby. And it was just joy like no joy ever known before. At the time, it was, you're my precious baby, and we're going to have this wonderful life together. My daughter, Andrea, and I were extremely close. She was, of my two daughters, the one that was more like me in my personality. She was very shy as a little girl. I remember one time my brother, the youngest one, he brought a friend in one day, and she was about 6 years old. And the friend was, saying, "Hi, Andrea," and trying to be friendly to her. And she just went under the kitchen table to hide because she was so shy. And, through the years, she was shy and just the sweetest, most studious child in school. Never a problem with her. She was involved with baton twirling, and she did that for quite a few years. And then she kind of lost interest, and then she found her passion, which was horseback riding. And I just completely enjoyed all of those moments, those beautiful days when we would travel, to the different the horse shows and for her lessons. And then when she got older, she was about 21, she bought herself a horse. Our relationship continued to flourish, and then she had the most beautiful wedding. She fell in love, found the man of her dreams. We all have that storybook. And we just became closer and closer. And then when she had her little baby boy, Tristan, it was just such a joy all over again, kissing her belly and feeling him move. And just, the closeness, the tenderness that we both had and shared. She was just my dream child. Then I remember one time we were out for lunch, and Tristan, this was shortly before the accident. He might have been maybe just before he was 2 years old, and we're out for lunch, and we're sharing our lunch with him and giving him our food, and just, it's all about Tristan. And I looked at her and I said, "Andrea, now you know how much I love you." And she said, "Yes, I do, Mom. Yes, I do." The day that my life changed forever, the day that my heart was broken and shattered into a million pieces, was December 20th, 2011. It was just before Christmas. Andrea and I were chatting, we were texting. I had gone to the mall for some last minute shopping, It was a beautiful winter day in Canada, beautiful blue sky, the sun was shining. I was at the mall, as I said, getting my last few minute things. We were chatting, and she was pregnant with her second baby. And she was, we're having the mother-daughter chat where, Mom, I feel so sick. I don't even feel like working today. And we were just, talking all morning. She was a social worker. She was working at a group home with teenage girls that had been through the foster system, and it was kind of the end of the road for them. And so she was a teacher in their program called New Directions. And I understood if, there was, an absence in the messages, but usually, well, all the time she would say, gotta go, Mom, talk to you later, Mom, can't talk right now. And so we were talking, and the messages just stopped. I had no idea I was 10 minutes away. And so the messages were just non-existent, and the day progressed. And the anxiety started to build as a mother. It's like, so what's going on here? And then the more time that went by, we didn't find out until about 6 o'clock. So what had happened was she was out with the 2 girls, 2 of them in the back seat. They were out in the community. They were teaching them. They had raised they had money that they had raised. They were going to adopt a child. They were returning on their way to the group home. They were maybe 2 blocks away, and they were stopped in their little vehicle. Andrea was a passenger, my daughter, and her co-worker was the driver, a transport truck driver who was texting and driving, having an argument with his girlfriend, barreled into their car, pushed them into the oncoming traffic, where they were T-boned again by another car. And they were both killed instantly. And I didn't know. I'm shopping at the mall. I went home. I said to my husband, I've waited long enough. It's like 4 o'clock. I haven't heard anything. And as time went on, I knew her little boy was at the babysitter at the paternal grandmother's. And when she didn't pick him up, I knew something was wrong. I said to my husband, that's it. I'm going. He says, where are you going? I'm going to her place of employment. I have to go somewhere. I can't sit around anymore. We haven't heard anything. No, nothing for 6 hours. So I got on the highway, and I was on the highway, and I come across the sign where I would be turning for her road. And it said, Canafton Road closed. I think in my heart, I knew it was just a matter of it being official. And so just as I saw that sign, my phone rang. It was my husband, and he told me, you need to come home because the police are here. I knew that. I was a nurse, right? So if my daughter was in the hospital and if she was alive, they would have said, go straight to the hospital. So when he's telling me to come home, I'm like, how am I going to drive 20 minutes home? Of course, it's dark. Lights are all on, police cruisers everywhere, and I don't even remember turning my car off, putting it in park. I don't remember any of that. I came in the house, and the police, nobody said anything to me. They didn't have to. But I just went over to the police officer and I called him, you are a liar. You have the wrong person. This is not my daughter. I did not see her. I did not identify her. So you have the wrong person. And I just pounded my fists in his chest until I collapsed. And that is the day that my world was crushed. From that day, time really, it had no measurement for me. I felt like I was existing outside of my body. I could hear, the voices and people talking. I walked around like a robot. Luckily, my husband was able to take, I can't even remember, 3 weeks or a month off work. And I was pretty much sedated, and he would tell me, it's time to eat, it's time to drink. I just had to have him guide me and pretty much live for me, because all I could do was cry. And that carried on for I don't know, months. Eventually started to, stick my foot outside the front door. And slowly, as time goes by, life slowly enters in, whether you want it to or not. I connected with my family doctor, of course, was the first person, because she was the one, preparing all the different doses for my antidepressants and my pills to sleep and my anti-anxiety pills. And then I connected with a counselor. During that time when you're not crying, that's when life slowly creeps in and you realize that you're actually living, that I was actually living without her. I gradually started incorporating different things into my world, and walking was one of them. I came home at the 9-year mark and said to my husband, that's it. I'm going to write a book. I even say today, I would give up my life for her. If I could give up my life right now and have her back here so that she could enjoy he's 15 now, so she could have enjoyed him, her son, who she loved so dearly. If I could make it happen, if I could give up my life, my heart could stop and she could be here, I would be gone. And that was from day one. I've been through it all. Depression. I deal with depression every day on different levels. Most days I have depression and anxiety. Who's going to die next? Is my husband going to die? How am I going to live without him? It's going to be when one of the grandkids gets sick. Fears, who's going to be next? I had complicated grief because the trucker, it was 3 years before the accident, before the trial was ended. It was a 5-day trial. Anger is one of my big ones. I deal with that probably more than anything else. And I don't know if I'll ever resolve the anger. The anger towards the trucker, especially because he walked away a free man. No charges, no license lifted, nothing. He walked out that day. I was outside the courtroom, lit up his cigarette and walked on, and I'm imprisoned for life without my daughter. I'm still working on forgiveness. I believe in heaven, and I believe that I will see Andrea again. And I believe I am a good person. Just want to leave this world knowing that I did my best to make it a better place. Part of that means forgiveness for him. So I'm still working on it. I can't say that I'm there yet, but I'm very angry. My anger is so deep. It's like a little flicker, a little flame that's there flickering all the time. And it doesn't take very much of a day-to-day circumstance to ignite that. I honor Andrea every single breath I take. We live in a split level, I guess you could say. You come in the main door and there's a little entrance way, and then you take 6 stairs down for the basement and 6 stairs up. So at the bottom of those stairs, there's this big poster-sized picture of her and her little boy, Tristan. And every morning when I go downstairs, we have a fridge down there, and I go downstairs, I say, good morning, Andrea. I talk to her. I tell her about my day. We honor her we have her wine glasses, and if I feel like having a glass of wine and I want it in her glass, I do it in her honor. I have my coffee table that has her pictures all around there, and I'll sit down and, have a coffee or a glass of wine or whatever, my husband and I. And I just, we'll have a little conversation about her. She's part of our life every day. I buried my daughter December 23rd, so that Christmas was non-existent. But the first real Christmas, the following year, we didn't celebrate Christmas. But we picked a day somewhere in December. I don't know, I don't remember the date. And we called it Andrea's Day. We had family over and we decorated everything in her favorite colors. It's not hard because her favorite color is red and purple. That's Christmassy. So I bought a little tabletop purple Christmas tree. And I use that same tree now, 12 and a half years. And her little boy, from every time he came to visit us, it's his job to decorate the tree. And to this day, he's 15 and he knows that that's Mommy in Heaven's Christmas tree, and he decorates that tree every Christmas. He doesn't remember her, but he has instilled memories from me, and he knows of her love. He knows when I kissed him a million times, but I'll kiss him, and then I'll kiss him again and say, that's for mommy in heaven. And I'll hug him and say, that's for mommy in heaven. Everything I do is for Andrea. For people that are grieving the loss of their child or the loss of someone that they love, that it's so very important to them, remember that death cannot touch love. That bond of love is forever. It's eternal. Your child, your person is with you all the time. Honor them and talk to them and have them as part of your life. Keep their legacy alive. I would never have known that I'm this strong had I not lost Andrea. So I think sometimes you have to be pushed and experience the worst of the worst. You find that strength within you, and that strength grows, and you realize that you can say yes to life.